hello, and welcome to another episode of the Chin Up Show. I think this is episode 31, am I right, Elvin? All right, fantastic. So we're doing it a little bit differently today. Last week we had part one of the topic. I think it's called again what pastors say the darndest things. Part one, and then later on when I finish this update is part two. Okay, so stay on for that. It's going to be good. So we thought that we will just do a very creative update today. I will give you just some highlights of what happened the past week. But as you can see, I'm filming in front of a basketball court. Doesn't belong to us, but this is a basketball court here in the Summit Mall, very, very near to our school, just round the corner. And we already have got 3 of our adults in there waiting for the students to come. Is the secondary, I think it's secondary, is it secondary or primary students who are coming today, and we rent the basketball court to be able to do all our PE, and so it's good. So we're gonna take a quick walk. Some of our teachers are just passing by, and I'm going to take a quick walk into the premises of our school. But as you follow me, I'm going to say that, so last week, I had breakfast with Pastor Ignatius. Some of you know who Pastor Ignatius is, and he has a center that does rehab for former drug addicts. He's doing a great job, and we had a good 2 hours of breakfast together at India Gate, and it was really, really delicious, but also a really, really good catch-up. Okay, come, follow me. We are now entering what we call the courtyard, okay? And the students are actually having sort of like a break time where they are playing ping pong and doing different things. And there you go. There's secondary students of Victory Academy, okay? And a little bit noisy, but good fun. And those of you who are still considering sending your children to Victory Academy, this is a little bit of what you get. Hi. Yo. Hi everyone. Fantastic. Okay, we just arrived at the front of my office called the base camp. And this is where all our staff works, and Flatfish office is here as well. And so it's a very nice office. Come and visit if you want. But I'm going to bring you to the bridge. Now, you might be thinking why we call it by these kind of names, base camp, bridge. Well, because it's a summit. So at the summit of any mountain, you will have a base camp, and you will have a bridge, to get to different peaks. But for us, we call it the bridge because it's a bridge between 2 buildings. It's a bridge between 2 age groups, right? The secondary school, primary school, and also the secondary is like a bridge to their tertiary. And for church, it's a bridge to life that is found in Jesus Christ. Okay, so a lot of this renovation done here in the last 3 weeks has been led by Elder Kenya. So we have a sick bay here on my left, and following that we have got officers, and study group rooms, and let me lead you down here. It's a nice reception area. All these cabinets ready for trophies of the future, and still a little bit of a mess because we need storage space, and we're going to get another storage where we're going to bring all these things there, and then the classrooms will be even freed up more. Classrooms, and a nice walkway, more classrooms, and all these classrooms can also be doubled up for other meetings, church meetings, school meetings, and our social businesses will also meet as well. Let me just open this door very quickly and turn on some lights for you. And here is our theater. All right, not all the lights are on, but I guess you can have a quick view of what we call the theater is used by the school. It's also used by 8 a.m. Mandarin service, Mandarin worship service on Sunday, and also 1:30 worship service on Sunday. And everything we do here at the base camp, or even the bridge, or even the peak upstairs, we probably won't have time to do the peak upstairs today, but it's all multi-purpose. It's not one room just dedicated for one person or one thing. And so let me just stand here and give you the next update that happened. Oh, two guys came to my house to fix up some IKEA stuff. And they are Pastor Elvin and Edison. Thank you so much, Elvin, Edison. It's good to have good, strong men who are really supportive to help you with these things that sometimes can take a lot of time if you were just one person doing it. That was a highlight for sure. So that my new cabin now has got 2 pieces of furniture, which I told Elvin, these are the first furniture to come into the cabin. And those of you who followed the cabin story, you know that it's new, it's a miracle, and already we are starting to dress it up. All right, fantastic. Okay, let's keep going. Let me close this door, and we're going to walk down. Look at these cages. These are called cages, but they're actually storage space. Aren't they cool? You can actually see what's inside and still keep it safe and secure. And some are under lock and key, some are not, because it's just open for the church and for the school. This is our favorite room here. We call it the design nest. So, if you read it quickly, it's like a place for designers. But it's a design nest, a place where we, incubate ideas, birth ideas. But it's a classroom actually, and it's our favorite classroom because as you can see, the view is really nice here. Some people pay big money for this kind of rooms, but we are blessed, and we got it as part of the deal. You can see an LRT on its way. So this is an LRT line, and students get quite inspired being in this classroom. It's light, of course, and aircon is nice and cool. New paint everywhere. Okay, this is what Elder Kenyak had his hand in. Together with Elder Terrence, and so more classrooms, more cages, and yeah, so that's good, yeah. More classrooms. All the way back there we won't go, but that's towards the toilets and the pantry. Okay, more students. Hi. Hi. Yay. Hi guys. Oh, the students are coming back in. Are you all cold today? The aircon is working. How cool is that? It's nice. It's like London. Hi. Hello. Whoa, thank you for carrying the table. Cool. All right, look at all some of these trophies. Whoa. And more to come because Ashley is going to win some for us. That's Maggie, our administrator. Cynthia, one of our staff for the school. Hi. All right, thanks guys. Thank you. Okay, this is the base camp, and maybe I'll bring it to a close here. Is that okay? The last few updates is that we were at Tiong and Eunice's wedding. Yay! This is really a highlight. Tiong is our church plant coordinator for Bristol. All right, he's been so faithful. I think he's done it now for like more than 8 years. Okay. And Tiong is, a good man, and he's found a good wife. And I had a chance to officiate at his wedding, and that was so exciting, so honorable. And my wife and I actually did their PMC, and we did it for 6 months. And then we got to go to a new hotel. I've never been to. Well, this is not so much new. The hotel's not new. But we were there as in our first time. Our first time to this hotel called Moven Peak. And Moven Peak actually is well known for ice cream. But they had no ice cream there, just the hotel. But very nice, very nice. And then we went for dinner to Gino Hotel, and I'm telling you right now, it was just really God glorifying. The whole event was just a beautiful event. Tiong and Eunice, once again, congratulations. from us and from the whole global Acts Church family. All right. And what else do we have here? Okay. The next day, I was at the Acts Ampang Getaway, and that was really, really special. They gave me the honor also to speak on Sunday. They were there already the day before, and 2 nights, 3 days, I think. And I brought the word to them, and they told me that they were really, really blessed by that. Finally, I was also honored, invited to the Acts Kids Teachers Training. So kudos to Pastor Sarah and team for putting together such an important event to encourage our teachers. And God gave me a word. Actually, he gave me this word about a week ago, and it's still brewing. You know, I told the teachers there that this message is still in the oven. I know it might taste all right, but the cake hasn't risen yet. You know, and the Lord just told me, no, I want you to use it now. It's good enough. And so I said, okay, hopefully it tastes all right, although it might not look so good. But God really moved. He really, really moved. I thank Him for that. I praise Him for that. And He ministered to so many of the teachers there. So we give God all the glory. And that's all the updates we have. And so I thank you for joining me in the short tour today. I hope you saw the students just having a fun time. And again, if you're considering a school, primary school or secondary school for your kid, a Bible-based school, a Christian foundation school, one that has got teachers that feel called to be teachers and love the students. And if you're considering, please pray about coming to Victory Academy. Come for our open days. Come any day actually, except of course weekends. But come any day because we'll be open to take you around and to even show you upstairs the peak and to get you to meet some of our teachers. All right? So that's all the updates we have for this week. This is episode 31. Kenneth Chin saying thank you again for tuning in this time round. Stay back, of course, because we have part 2 of Pastor Say the Darndest Things. Enjoy. God bless. Okay, welcome back. This is episode 31, and we're glad you could join us. So we are on the overall theme of ethical revival. And if you were with us at episode 30, you would know where we left off and where we are picking up from today. So we have again with us in the studio Elder Keng Yak and Pastor Alvin. And again, we are continuing from last week's discussion. That was episode 30. And I think we gave it a cute title, Alvin. We said, Pastors Say the Darndest Things.
Yeah.
And of course, we all can learn from it. We all have said things that we regret saying.
Definitely.
But the thing is, we need to regret and we need to learn from it.
Yeah, that's
sometimes we think that, I didn't do anything wrong. I didn't say anything wrong. That's where the next generation might catch the wrong thing. And so even if this episode goes out to the younger pastors and leaders who are coming up, that they would learn the right thing to say, the right thing to do,
that's true.
and bring more unity and healing to the church than the opposite. And so that's how we're going to maintain the revival, the spiritual revival that God brings us. So ethical revival is what we're talking about, and Pastors Say the Darndest Things is quite possibly the title for this 2-in-1 episode, episode 30 and 31, but one discussion on how we could do better as pastors to contribute to unity in the body of Christ. Okay, so we talked about this friend, and where we left off the last week was this friend of mine, pastor friend of mine, who saw the need to give time to different sheep, different people, different partners, even different leaders from Acts Church who slowly but surely went to speak. I think they took courage because one already went to talk to him and then another one went to talk to him. So I think my friend built up already sort of like a mini culture going on where this pastor friend of mine showed himself to be an understanding pastor who had time for my sheep.
Yeah.
And I already said earlier that I won't do this.
Yep.
And I would not advise any of my leaders in X-Church to do this,
yeah.
okay? Number one, try to say no. If it's your own internal thing, please bring it up to
Yep.
your own pastor,
Yep.
your own
Yep.
leaders. Please talk there.
Right.
But although I said 99% of the time I will reject any request for a meeting from with people from another church, there is possibly a 1% that I might say, okay, you can talk. But in that 1% chance of us talking, I would say do not bring up anything negative or bad about your pastor or about
Yep.
your church.
Yeah.
You want to talk about you wanting or thinking about joining my church because of God told you and you prayed about it, then let's talk about that.
Yeah.
Let's talk about the God told you.
Yeah.
Let's talk about, what you can do to contribute to the future.
Yeah.
All right? And if you need healing, bring it up to the Lord. Only the Lord can heal you
Correct.
from the past hurts.
Yeah.
But I don't want to be part of a conversation that brings any pastor or church down. So that would be my ethics.
Yeah.
That would be my practice.
Yeah.
Okay. But then we spent a lot of time, the last time we talked, about the third thing this pastor did was to call me, and while telling me that, people are frustrated and leaving, and he's saying to them, don't leave lah, Pastor Kenneth is a good pastor, actually it's a good church and all that, he felt the need to tell me the one weakness that most of these sheep who were coming out or thinking of coming out from Acts were saying. And that was that they couldn't find community in Acts. So again, it's not so much about the exact thing he said,
Yep.
but that he said it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And we talked about it last week and said, I don't think it's his place or
Yeah.
any of our place
Yeah.
Yeah.
to tell our neighbor
Yeah.
what their children had to complain and in a way to almost like say to my neighbor, this is your problem. And
Yeah.
I think, the suggestion is probably like, or sometimes the unspoken suggestion is like, if you could just deal with it,
Yeah.
then maybe your son won't have to keep coming to my house.
Yeah.
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 All right? So we are saying that unless it's being asked,
Yes.
Yeah.
like I said, dear pastor friend, you've already met so many of them. What are they saying? I would like to know and I would like to understand it and I would
Yeah.
like to learn. Then maybe you are at liberty to say it. But otherwise, I won't say it. So we dealt with that and we felt
Yeah.
all together we had a consensus that, first of all, you shouldn't meet them. But even if you meet them, you got to direct it to a place whereby it heals, it
Yeah.
unites.
Yeah.
And try not to give unsolicited suggestions
yeah.
Right.
or advice. Okay. Now I want to move to the second thing he said. So after the first one, which we weren't very happy, me and my wife were not happy, like, okay, all right, okay, so we have a weakness. But even if we didn't deal with this weakness, it doesn't give them any right to it. Okay?
Yep.
So anyway, I won't belabor that point. But the second thing that he said was, okay, so I don't know what Pastor Kenneth's stand is because he couldn't speak to me directly. So
Yeah.
he spoke to Pastor Sandra, but then after that he decided to speak to Elder Peng Ho.
Right.
Because he found out that Elder Peng Ho is the new executive pastor.
Yep.
So he thought that maybe, okay lah, I can't really get on the same page with my friends, Pastor Kenneth and Pastor Sandra. So this is his thinking. So he thought maybe officially deal with Peng Ho.
Yeah.
And Peng Ho showed me a message from him that wrote like this. I am sad that quite a few have already left X to join my church.
Yep.
And while I'm trying to discourage them from leaving X, I think Pastor Kenneth would definitely want what's best for his sheep. Now, I've got things to say about that. All right? I wonder what you would think. But I also thought, see, the thing is this. People say things that would seem very noble, nice, normal. But I want to go deeper because this one sounds very safe. So you've got sheep from the other church coming to your church, and now you say, I think Pastor Kenneth sort of won't mind because he, I'm sure, wants the best for his sheep. So why that becomes a little bit while it's normal and nice to think about me like that, is also to presume that your church is the best for my sheep. So this is the thing. I'm sure Alvin won't mind his son coming to stay with me because his son has got problems with his father. But I'm sure Alvin won't mind because Alvin wants the best for his son. And what is the best for his son? Coming to stay with me. So although that last part wasn't mentioned, but is to be taken to finish the sentence, that I think that your church is the best for my sheep who doesn't have community. Now, it's actually better for me to say that. That it's okay, pastor friend, they are going to your church, but I am okay with it. Why? Because I want the best for them, and your church is the. But for another person to say it is just out of place for me. So, okay, what do you think?
I think, Pastor, it's very presumptuous to say something like that, Pastor. Because to say that, like I say again, Pastor, it's half an hour conversation. Whereas maybe we have walked with the individual for at least more than a year, seen them grown up, to say that this place is the best. And
he wasn't saying that, but the sentence is,
yep, correct. Sorry.
I am sure Pastor Kenneth only wants the best for his people.
Correct.
So I don't know what you're listening to the sheep already by now and almost legitimizing their transfer.
Correct.
And presuming a few things. That I'm okay with it.
Yeah.
And I'm okay because I should be wanting the best. So I shouldn't stop these sheep from moving.
Yeah.
Because to stop them is to be a pastor that doesn't want the best for his people. I'm thinking that if I really want the best for my people, I want them to stay.
Yeah.
Because in staying, they will learn, they will grow,
Correct.
They will be rubbed the wrong way, they will get rust off their faith, they will get maturity in.
Correct, Pastor.
They will deal with problems rather than running away from it. So I'm like, actually, I do want the best for my people, but the best for my people is here.
Yeah, correct, Pastor.
And so to finish the sentence that wasn't finished was that I'm sure Kenneth Chin will be okay because they're leaving to my church, but I'm sure Kenneth wants the best for his people. And so right now, almost without declaring it, I am the best
correct,
for your people. So again, that is again is a statement more than the actuality lah. So I'm trying to tell myself and my leaders and my pastors that be careful what you say because it looks nice. It looks like you're giving the pastor respect by saying that I'm sure he wants the best. But it might, if you ever find a pastor being angry with you for presuming that, then you go like, hey, what wrong did I do? What wrong did I say? Isn't that true that Pastor Kenneth should want the best for his people?
Correct.
But his people are going to your church. And you are receiving them and now saying that I want the best. So that's where it can be hurtful. But a lot of people might not understand that. So I just want to get your view.
I think, Pastor, many times, that when people decide to go that path, that way, right, Pastor, it does take maturity to grow. And the Lord sometimes wants us to go through moment with like a King Saul situation, whereby Saul was, wasn't the best environment, but David went through it, Pastor, because of maturity. God wanted to bring him through. I'm not saying that our Acts is that like a Saul, Pastor, but sometimes the Lord allows a situation like that. And an individual, Pastor, I feel that when anybody say that, I'm sure you want the best, like it's almost saying that to sanction or to say what they did was right and they should allow, not knowing that some of the law allows people to go through that, Pastor. I think to go through that process of maturity, the fire. I think, Pastor, being with you, Pastor, for more than 24 years, Pastor, before Acts started, I think there were many times, I was helping you with the cafe and doing all the Railroad store back then, Pastor IC Resources, doing all the counter. I remember got this friend of mine said, "Hey, what are you doing always behind the counter and just stuff like that? Hey, the things are happening at the stage there, but yeah, I'm tasked to do this, right?" Of course, being on the stage there, near the stage ministry is definitely nicer. But I know the Lord wanted me to go through a process, Pastor. There's nothing wrong with the process, nothing wrong with manning the counter, nothing wrong with being with the mosquitoes and just stuff like that. But God brought me through a season, and the season of maturity, and sometimes not knowing, people shortcut their process, really shortcut the whole process of maturity by just saying that, I'm sure that, that you don't mind. Yeah.
The point is, okay, that's good. And I think the point is that we actually don't know what's the best.
Correct, Pastor.
Maybe as a dad, I might know somewhat for my sons and daughters because I've been with them for some time.
Correct.
So I might know that the best is discipline for them now.
Yeah.
The best is time out for them now.
Yeah.
Yep.
For another person from another household or another church to say, I think, okay, people are coming to my house and coming to my church, and it should be okay with Pastor Kenneth because he wants only the best for his people. Yeah, I mean, it's what's the word for it? Sometimes I don't even have words for it. Like, I can talk about family. I can also talk about husband and wife. So you're married, for better for worse, and then maybe the husband this season is a little bit unreasonable because maybe he lost his job, blah blah blah. And then the wife knows that she's married to him for better for worse. But then she goes and meet the husband's friend, who's a male. And then because she knows him well also, then she begins to tell the friend about all the husband's unreasonableness. And instead of the husband's friend saying, "Oh, I know my friend for a long time since school days," he will bounce back one. He's a good man actually. He loves you very much actually. And I was the best man at your wedding. And I want to tell you, this friend, you just be patient with him. He will turn, Instead, after talking for another 10 more times, your best friend's wife and you fall in love, because of so much time spending.
Yep.
All right. And now she says, actually, I'd rather be married to you. I've known you also as long as my husband, and you two are friends. But and sometimes by talking and spending time, you can be actually you can fall in love.
Yeah.
And because the guy shows you a lot of understanding and all that. And so instead of promoting his best friend, which is your husband, he now talks about, other things that. And so now she says, I think I'll divorce my husband and marry you. And then the best friend writes his best friend a note and say, your wife and I think she's better fitted here.
Yeah.
And I think you'll be all right releasing your wife to me, right? Because
you want the best.
You only want the best for her. It's not for him to say. If the husband said it, actually, I'm going to release my wife to my best friend because I want only the best for. Is already ridiculous, lah.
Yeah.
But it's better that the husband said that.
Yeah.
So now when I put it in this kind of context, you probably can see.
Correct, Pastor.
That is not the right thing.
Yeah.
Again, this title is called Pastor Say the Darndest Things. It's not whether they're right or wrong to
Correct,
say it.
Pastor.
I mean, it's not whether they're right or wrong in the content of what they said.
Yeah.
But in saying it itself.
Correct, Pastor. Pastor, I think we also know of people, Pastor, who got children but may not have enough money to raise up all the children, and sometimes they will have to give up or rather pass the child to another relative to raise up. But it very seldom you see the relative, since you're poor, you can't raise up your child, I'm sure you want the best for your child, then give your child to me.
Yeah. Okay. Just pause for a second. That's a good point. I want to see how we work this out. Oh, okay, good.
Right.
I'm going to learn this microphone. If we don't actually have to cut that part, it's quite fun. Okay.
Yeah. So give your child to me.
Technical problem.
Like, but Pastor, like, very
I got you.
Yeah.
So that's what sometimes people do think like that.
Yeah.
They might think,
They might, Pastor.
that
I've seen
actually
before also.
you've got 7 children.
Yeah.
You don't have the money, right? And why don't you give 2 to me?
Correct.
Because you want the best for your children.
Yeah.
The best for your children is to be able to take them to Disneyland, send them to the best schools and all that kind of thing. Not knowing that actually a family, no matter how poor they are, should be sticking together
Correct, Pastor.
and staying the course.
Yeah.
And yes, if you want to give money to the family,
Yep.
but don't say that, give me 2 of your children because you want the best for them.
Yep.
In fact, if surely everybody wants the best, then make a donation to the family.
Correct,
so that
Pastor.
they can live a little bit more easier life. But
Yep.
yeah, you're right. So I know where you're getting to. And so we're coming up with real life examples of what we wouldn't do on a normal basis. And yet sometimes we do to each other as pastor friends. Go ahead, Elvin.
I think, Pastor, the one word that keeps coming up is boundaries. I mean, there are boundaries in the context of a marriage. There are boundaries in the context of like a family. And I think in church, there are also boundaries that we need to respect.
Yeah.
Which sometimes people just don't respect. I mean, I will also think about it this way, Pastor, that, and again, what are the people saying? Because if, let's say, I guess it would have been more clear-cut, and I try to see things more clear-cut. If you still see yourself as part of this family, then why are you going to another person or another father to ask for advice? You should go to your father first. But the moment you don't see yourself as part of this family, then go lah. Because you have cut yourself out from the family. So that's how I would see it. And then, therefore, this new person that comes in, if you still recognize them as part of another family, then you should encourage them to go back to the other family and don't, like you mentioned, lion them in that sense. No, because you say, look, this is not my business. It's your business. I mean, honestly, if I were to use my family, let's take family example. If my wife had issue, my kids have issue, and they go to another parents and all, and if the parents, let's say the parents come, and again, you have no context, okay? No context in the sense of maybe there was one day where I was extra strict with my son, right? And also because he needs that, in his life. And then he goes to someone else's house and say, my daddy very whatever and all. And then they say, oh, poor thing, come, let us take care of you. Come, why don't you stay with us? And then my son loves it. Because now you don't have any rules and all, and you do. I would be furious. I'm like, hello, this is my son. I sacrificed for him. I did all these things for him. And now you are taking him away? I mean, I will look at it and I think, and if my son says, no, Dad, I'm no longer your son. Number one, it will cut me to the heart. Number two, what has that family done? You have broken up my family. I mean, we talk about it that in that context, I think we understand. But sometimes people don't take responsibility. I think people don't take responsibility or they treat it trivially. Then you can make such assumptions. I do agree, Pastor. If it comes from me to say, you know what, I think my son is doing better and I release him. So there's that release. I release him to your care. That's a different situation altogether. And even if there's a release of care, shouldn't you still recognize that I'm still the father? Some people don't even do that. Yeah. I release to their care and therefore, wow, now I have a new family and my old family doesn't make... And then they forget that the old family has done so much for them.
Right.
They forget that we suffer together. They forget that the only reason why you are so successful now or so big or at this place now is because your family sacrifice. We forget.
Yeah.
I mean, I will look at it in that context. Yeah. So I understand as I'm thinking, my blood is boiling. I'm like, if my son ever do that, right?
Yeah.
Pastor, this statement, Pastor, I'm sure you want the best. I think the best, the favorite definition, the best, to another person is different.
Yeah.
What's best, what you may think is best.
Yeah.
I may have a different idea what's best.
Yeah.
And to think that person's way is the best.
Yeah.
And not to think just by saying it, Pastor, it's very different.
I mean, as a standalone statement,
it
sounds like honor.
Yeah.
Yes.
Because my friend is saying that he thinks highly of me, that I only want the best for my sheep.
And my reply should be, yes, I do want
correct,
the best
Pastor.
for my sheep, for sure. So thank you for thinking about me.
Yep.
But don't forget, this man is the one that is getting all the transfer of the sheep.
Yep.
Yeah.
So if you are another person who is not getting any sheep, and you said, and you're sitting down with me, I said, he's going to your friend's church. Now 20 of them have gone to your friend's church. Okay, so, but how, Pastor Kenneth, what do you think? Should you go and cut off your friendship with this pastor? Or, then I said, no lah, he's my friend. Actually, I rather them go to his church than to, and I would say that.
Yeah.
I rather them go to
No,
his
and
church
the thing is,
than,
Pastor, you've never stopped anyone.
correct.
So that's the
Yeah.
other key
But,
thing.
yeah, correct. But and if I could finish this statement, so I would say yes. I would rather them go to church.
Yep.
And if they are going to church, I'd rather them go to his church because he's actually a very good pastor, a very good leader.
Yeah.
Then my friend who's not getting any of the sheep going to his church will say, Kenneth, I like your spirit lah. And I can see that you're doing that because you only want the best for your sheep. So I think a person who's not inheriting
Yeah.
my sheep can say that and it's a different meaning.
Yeah, that's true.
But when you are getting that person's wife, and then saying to that person, I think you only want the best for your wife, that's a little bit
Correct,
off
Pastor.
lah.
It's a loaded statement.
Off.
Yeah.
So it again depends on where it's coming from, who is
Correct.
saying it, and all that. The statement is that's why a lot of people don't think that it's wrong.
Yeah.
Because what's wrong with the statement?
Yeah.
But now that I've explained to you where it's coming from, then you go like, that's different already.
Yeah.
Correct, Pastor.
That's different. So I think I'll move on because I got one more thing to say about this same person. So the first one is, hello, Kenneth. They have come to me. I tried to send them back, but anyway, the problem is that you don't have community in your church. Okay. Point number one, we have established. Don't say that lah. Don't say that unless you're being asked. Okay, number two is I think you won't mind them coming to my church because you only want the best. So okay, you've just established that you are the best lah for my disgruntled sheep. So I would also say don't say that. Don't say that. And number three, the statement in various ways have said this. I'm trying to discourage them from coming. I try to send them back. I try to say that Kenneth Chin is a good pastor. I'm trying to say that Act Church is a good church. So Pastor Kenneth, I'm really doing my best here. I'm telling them I don't understand. Why? What's going on? All right? And then in 1 month's time, I give them roles and duties in my church. This is where I couldn't match I'm trying to discourage them to go back to Acts with the action of, would you like to play guitar for my worship team? Would you like to play drums for my worship team? Would you like to be a worship leader? All within 1-2 months.
Yep.
The Acts church style of doing this is, when I see someone come from another church, especially when I know they're disgruntled, I will not use them for 6 months, at least. Some maybe even 1 year. No?
Yeah.
Especially if I knew that they're disgruntled and that is not fully settled yet.
Yeah.
If I don't know, if they've come and they're not complaining about their pastor, they're not complaining about the church, they're new, I might suggest that they serve within or after 3 months.
Yep.
Right? But if I knew that they had disgruntlement and it's not fully settled, I will try not to touch them, hoping that within 6 months of being ministered to and receiving the word and receiving healing, they will actually go back. But to see my friend using some of our talents within a month or two,
Yep.
I couldn't reconcile his words of trying to discourage them from coming to his church. So if that is the way of discouragement, then I thought to myself, wow, But I also compare with the standards I put on myself.
Yeah.
Of how we use people here in X Church.
Yeah.
And really, in the first 3 months, I won't even ask. I will say, just sit, receive.
Yeah.
Yep.
Right? Okay, so I think I've said quite a bit about that, but I want also to hear from you all.
Yeah. Pastor, I'm not sure people do know now, but the early days of church, we had a lot of people coming from other churches.
Yeah.
Praise Factory, they came, They sat inside the teachings, and we would tell people, just come. And I don't remember, Pastor, us ever, or at least for me, Pastor, I also know for you that we actually listened to why they left, or why this. You say, if this is your church, you just come out. The doors are open. You want to come, you come. You don't like, then the church. But to mobilize so quickly, to encourage involvement so quickly, I think that personally, Pastor, that some things are not settled yet. And when the person's heart is not settled, it's very hard to minister.
Yeah.
Everything that I couldn't do there, I want to do here. Everything I couldn't express there, I want to express here. And that's where the wrong motivation comes at the end of the day. This whole thing about one month time, I'm using this to make sometimes people, we allow ministry to be used to to get you involved so that you could find what you couldn't find back there.
It happens. It happens that sometimes churches do use opportunities, roles, responsibilities to attract. To say that, they're not giving you the chance there, is it?
Yeah.
I will. If you were mine,
correct.
I will give it to you. I'll give it to you immediately. Sometimes people, but I let me be fair to my pastor friend. He didn't do that.
Yeah.
He wasn't putting any carrots. But they went to him.
Yeah.
And just to give them time already was a carrot, lah.
Yeah.
All right, because Pastor Kenneth is not giving me time. This pastor is giving me all the time and listening to all my grouses. But the part of I'm trying to discourage them from coming.
Yes.
And then the next photo I see is they're on stage with the guitar. Not many months from the time you told me you're trying to discourage.
Yeah.
So either say it and mean it, or don't say it at all.
Yeah.
Don't tell me I try to discourage. Just don't say it. Don't say it because at least I don't have to reconcile your statement with your action.
Exactly, Pastor.
Because right now you go like, I see. So this is your discouragement of and already on the drums or already on as worship leader, and it's not a year later. It's not 6 months later. Also, it's pretty quick. So especially if I was your friend, you want to go the extra mile to show your friend that actually I meant what I said.
Yeah.
And maybe I may even call you 6 months later and say, hey, actually this guy that went to your church, he's actually very talented one. No? When he was with us, he was the best drummer or best guitarist or best singer or best preacher. But he's very talented. Well, how come you haven't used And you can tell me, actually, Pastor Kenneth, you're my friend. And until today, I'm still trying to discourage them. So I haven't given them any roles. I want them to sit, hopefully be ministered to. And when they're healed, if they tell me that they're going back to Pastor Kenneth Chin's church, I'll be the happiest pastor.
Yep.
Because that means they found healing here, they found restoration, and that's probably my role. My role as your friend was just to take your son for a while.
Yeah.
Stay overnight. Overnight,
Pastor.
talk to my children, also play with my children, hopefully forget all the troubles and get ministered to. And I hope that he goes back to his real family.
Yeah.
Right? But to already change his name, after 1 week of staying with you, from Chin to Tan or Wong, it gives me that feeling that
Correct,
I don't even know whether I can give any weight to your words of discouragement. But to give the benefit of doubt, I know that my friend didn't lure or attract or use it. But to be so quick,
correct, Pastor.
is giving me a sense of like I don't know how much weight I can put.
Correct, Pastor.
I tell you another pastor that now I will also tell of pastors that do it right.
Yeah.
So I know of a pastor of a very big church who, when one of our leaders went to his church, he didn't use him. Although this guy was very talented, musically talented, leadership-wise, he had a lot of experience. And I know that this pastor friend of mine, leading this big church, also had needs to fill. But he refused to use this man for, I think, close to 2 years. And by the time they were ready, the pastor gave me a call first, to ask her. And this man is 20 years older than me, this pastor friend of mine, and very well respected in Malaysia. And after 2 years, he called me to say, we are ready to use so and so.
Wow.
I just want to tell you and also ask for your blessing. Didn't have to. Because for 2 years already, he's established in that church already. But this man, I'm talking about doing it right.
Correct, Pastor.
And being known as a man that wants to do all things above board.
Correct, Pastor.
Go the second mile, especially when it comes from a church of friendship. You want to show that, and that's why until today I respect this man a lot. He didn't have to.
Correct, Pastor.
But he was really genuine in showing that I have standards and ways of doing it, so that I don't want people to just be shifting from other churches just because I'm a man that uses people within the first 3 months. Then when people know that, then they start going because they start knowing that you are the kind of man that... But they probably won't leave to this other friend's church because they'll be hearing like, wow, only after 2 years only this guy gives then they won't be so quick to migrate because now they know that this pastor's stands are very high. So I won't simply go because he won't simply give me a position. You get what I'm saying? Wow. So in that sense, you're painting yourself a picture also. That's why I keep saying to people, I keep telling people, if people find it so easy to go to you, it may not be a good thing, It might not be good for your reputation. You think it's good because, wow, now you're open to everybody, but actually, they come to you maybe because your stands are low. Or maybe you don't have stands. So if people say that, it's very hard to speak to Pastor Kenneth Chin. It's very hard to get an appointment with him. Actually, I find that to be a better thing. He won't simply talk to anyone who will bring down their pastor or bring down their leader. And because they know that of you, they refuse to come to you.
Correct.
Do you understand that even when it happens in church, sometimes some people go to some leaders easier than they go. Like you will tell me, Kenya, they never come to me. I think even Elder Shirley tells me, they seldom come to me. Then Alvin also sometimes will tell me, they haven't told me. Because actually...
Because they will know what we will say.
That's the thing. And that's why some children also, they won't go to their dad to...
Because mommy always say yes.
Dad has got that standard. Or even mom,
Correct.
So every time you think it's a strength that people come to tell you of their complaints and their grouses first, you think it's a strength. Actually, it can be a weakness. That you are a person without stands. That's why every Tom, Dick and Harry goes to you.
Correct, Pastor.
But once you begin to present yourself as a person with stand and with, you can actually scold the person back, like, hey, I don't want you to. If you want to come and see me, there will be not a single second you're going to tell me anything bad about your church and your pastor. You think they'll come and see you? Because all they want to do is tell something bad about their pastor and their church. So they will find people who will listen. And now...
And have heart-to-heart talks with.
And now we think that is a strength. That you're seeing everybody who wants to see you and you're hearing all their grouses. And I'm telling you right now, it's not a strength.
Correct,
it is a strength when people know that why I don't see you is because your stands are so high and I cannot gossip with you. I cannot talk bad about other people behind their backs with you. I cannot get positions with you. I cannot get roles and responsibilities. I cannot get any sympathy from you in just any way I think you get. So they don't come to you. So sometimes not coming to you can actually have a better reputation than actually...
Correct, Pastor.
This is my thing.
Pastor, I mean, a lot of people may not know, Pastor, that, that the history and the richness of AYA and X and how you led it since the start of the ministry, Pastor. Because I got to know you in FJ, Pastor. I remember when you asked me, when I came back from Australia, Pastor, and a lot of time you discipled me, and when you leave FJ at the time, he asked me to even go up to Dr. Cole, and just let him know. And I wasn't one of the leaders, senior leaders. I was just one of the youth there, Pastor, who came back from Australia studying. I remember going up to Elder Dr. Cole and just to let him know. And he prayed for me. And so he wasn't even angry. He prayed for me. Yeah, good. And stuff like that, Pastor. And now looking back, Pastor, there are a lot of things that, when we started Acts, I remember you shared in the youth fellowship, don't follow, don't come, right? Stay here. And when people...
This is the SIB youth. I was their youth pastor. And when I was leaving to start Acts Church, you remember that because I had the meetings with them and I told them, you are not allowed to follow me. You stay here. The SIB is a good church.
Correct.
You stay here. And I even left my wife
Yep.
to be their youth pastor after me, so that, because I mean that's real love and care.
Correct,
Yeah.
Pastor.
You don't just leave them alone like that. So, and Pastor Sandra was willing. And I would say again and again that it was Pastor Sandra's sacrifice to do that.
Yeah.
Because until today, I cannot call Pastor Sandra a
Correct.
founding member.
Yes.
Because you and Ryan were
Yeah.
founding members. My wife would have loved that title as well.
Yeah.
I went out with my husband, but cannot because she only came in,
Yeah.
after 6 months.
Yeah.
When there's already, I think, about 20 people or something like that.
Correct,
So
Pastor.
Pastor Sandra may not be a founding member like the three,
Yep.
but she should have been. But because of the love for SIB youth,
Yeah.
she decided to stay on and let her husband go out there and plant. But she was also doing something very important. We both love the youth of SIB so much, we left one capable person
Yeah.
to make sure that the transition
Correct.
is smooth and safe. Then when everything was better for SIB youth, then only she came out to join
Yeah.
me. That's what you call responsibility lah,
Yep.
and real love
Yep.
for people. And forever, as I said, Pastor Sandra will not hold the title of founding member because of that sacrifice.
Yep.
So she sacrificed that. But this is the thing. This is
Correct.
this is the reality. You speak up and tell people not to. And
Correct.
again, I say this because at the end of the day, Jesus says, "If you love me, feed my sheep," meaning to say that these sheep are His.
Yeah.
When people start following you, then it becomes your sheep.
Yeah.
You
Correct,
know?
Pastor.
So I want leaders out there to understand that when you have all these discussions about I need to follow you, I want to follow you, I cannot continue to stay on this church because I can only talk to you, I think only you can lead me, only you can share open, only you can feed me, I have a relationship with you. Now, when that happens, that even that discussion happens, we've got to remind ourselves, is it our sheep
Yeah. Yeah.
or is it His sheep? If
Yep.
it's
Yep.
His sheep, then stay where you are.
Yeah.
Because if God wants you there, then it's His sheep. He
Yeah.
tells you where you should be or not.
Yeah.
Yep. That's good.
But when people start leaving with the pastor or leaving, then very thin line, no?
Yeah.
Because now it could possibly be because now these are your sheep.
Yeah.
And your sheep follow you because you are now their shepherd.
Yeah.
Yeah.
No longer Jesus, possibly.
Yeah.
So I feel that this discussion was very important for me in my heart, that I've done a lot with this sheep.
Yeah.
I've given my life to the SIB youth
Yeah.
Yeah.
over 3 years. I've taken them everywhere and seen revival happen in their lives. But hey, listen, they are still, at the end of the day, not my sheep.
Yep.
I'm a steward.
Yeah.
Correct, Pastor.
I'm an under shepherd.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm working for the Lord, taking care of His sheep.
Yep.
And once I'm done and He moves me,
Yeah.
they don't move with me.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Because again, I'm not their shepherd.
Yeah.
Correct,
They,
Pastor.
they stay where. But you and Ryan moved with me because even before we joined SIB,
Yep.
I was already
Correct, Pastor.
leading you and leading
Yep.
Ryan. So both of you followed me in.
Yep.
And even with both of you, I asked you to pray.
Yep.
And you have a choice whether you want
Yep.
to follow me or not. And both of you made the choice. So, and why do we do that so not trivially, but with a sense of fear of the Lord? Is because we remember that it is His
Correct, Pastor.
sheep. So that's important.
I mean, Pastor, there's so many other instances, like even Rock 2000, the camp was one of the, I would say that, history-making
Yeah.
camp, Pastor.
Yeah, life-changing camp.
Life-changing. I think so many even people answered to full-time calling out from the
Yes,
camp, Pastor.
Yes.
But never once after the camp that you ever put out or anything, or rather solicit, I'm sure people have saw you, Pastor, just say I want part, and I don't think majority of them came and joined X,
Yeah.
stuff like that, Pastor.
I used to have invitations. Maybe some of you don't know this, because I was so investing into
Yeah.
the youth of the nation. So they came from Kuantan,
Correct,
Penang.
Pastor.
Some of these young people actually came up to me and asked me to do their weddings. Because they just drew so close to you
Yep.
and saw you as their shepherd. But actually, they have their own pastor one. No?
Yeah.
Yeah.
And I'll say to them, I think it's good that you give your own pastor the honor
Yeah.
to marry you. I am just an itinerant pastor
Correct.
who may have impacted your life, but I'm not your dad.
Yeah.
I'm not your pastor. But I tell you, invitations after invitations, speak at our wedding, officiate
Yeah.
our wedding. Thank God I didn't have a license to officiate weddings, at that, because I don't know how many weddings I would have officiated or spoken at, preached at. But then they are seeing me as, every time they see me, probably they feel good because I've impacted them in a certain way.
Yeah.
But it's still your neighbor, no?
Yeah.
Your neighbor may have given, every time your neighbor sees my son, the neighbor will give him ice cream, sweets,
Yeah.
I will say, don't take the sweets now, eat your vegetables. So I'm going to be always the bad guy. My neighbor is always going to be looking. Now my son wants to get married and invite the neighbor to, or maybe the other way around, the daughter wants the neighbor to give her away. Walk her down the aisle because the neighbor for the past 20 years have been giving her ice cream and sweets. So we don't understand that actually I was the one that traveled and actually gave sweets and ice creams in that sense. And the people were blessed and they were happy with me. But they have their own churches and they have their own parents. And they must give the honor back to their own dads and moms.
No, that's true.
They might like me more,
Mm.
but I am a traveling minister.
Correct, Pastor.
And so you shouldn't like the temporary.
Yeah.
Only you should love the permanent.
Yeah.
And the permanent is your dad, your mom. But people get sometimes starstruck.
Yeah.
And they get into this, wow, I'm going to follow this band wherever they go. But listen, this is all temporary,
Correct, Pastor.
They are not going to be at your funerals. They are not going to be, when time is hard, traveling ministers are not going to be there for you to cry over their shoulder. You're still going to go to your pastor who's there for you every week. Not the traveling pastor who has become your hero. So sometimes we look at people and instead of making our own pastors our hero, we make the celebrity pastor our hero. But where's the celebrity pastor when you need him?
Correct, Pastor.
And where's the celebrity pastor when he has to do funeral?
Yep.
Or whatever problems
That's true.
you're at. So I think we need to really be growing up and mature about this. Celebrity pastors are one thing. And to follow is, but you have a family and you have people. That's why God actually had to put in the commandment, honor your father and your mother. You think about it, why did everyone have to put it? Should it be natural?
Correct, Pastor.
But he wasted one commandment. No. I thought he should have put something else. Put something else. But he had to waste one obvious commandment. Because, ladies and gentlemen, I want to tell you right now, is not that obvious.
True, Pastor.
Especially when you start to be surrounded by nice mentors and people who actually, I would like them to be my dad. I would like the other lady to be my mom. Actually, they are not. They are either figments of your imagination or they are real people. But they are not. You can see them, but they can't see you. You know their name, but they don't know your name. You go for their concerts, they don't come for your birthday celebration.
That's
you understand? You follow them on Facebook, they don't follow. Basically, what I'm trying to say is that, but we get caught up with that until we forget our own parents. And then God has to waste one commandment to say, hello, just in case I want to put it there. Because I know when you grow up and you're stronger and you're better and you're richer and all that, you will forget the very people that sold it to your lives. Because now they are boring. Now they don't understand you.
Correct, Pastor.
Now they don't cramping your style, right?
Cramping your style. Now they won't give you ice cream, they want you to eat vegetables, right? But that uncle opposite the road is always giving me ice cream, So now he will be my father.
Now I want to honor him.
I honor him.
Yep.
Right? That's why you said just now, 30 minutes conversation can sometimes totally destroy 30 years of sowing.
Correct,
Why? Because you have met a man now who is giving you time because your pastor doesn't give you time. You met a man now who's giving you time, your husband didn't give you time. And now just because he met you for 10 days, he should be your husband. And these 10 years of marriage should go down the drain. So we forget those times, So, and again, not every family, I should say the other way around. Every family have their own problems. And every family has their own silent treatment. And every family have their own vegetable moments.
Correct, Pastor.
And things that you should eat when you don't like to eat. Right? Or whatever it is. But that's family. We go through thick and thin. Just like marriage, right? We take the vows. For better, for worse. It's not just for better all the time. Whereas this other joker who just meeting you for 10 days is promising you diamonds every day and pina coladas on the beach. But I know I'm getting a bit passionate about this.
No, it's good, Pastor. It's very good stuff.
Because it's very important for us. And this is all part of maturity.
Yeah.
Go ahead.
No, it's Pastor. I'm very, as I'm hearing you and Elder Kenneth share. I keep smiling because I'm very proud to be part of our church, and for a few reasons. Because number one, we really learn how to honor not just people in our church. We learn how to honor other people, and I think honor is a very strong trait in Acts. People recognize that we don't take things trivially. We are very careful. Pastor, you gave the example about the marriage, people asking you. And I smile because just recently, I had a couple ask me, can I preach for their wedding? And I know that, and the context is this, of course, one of them is part of our church, and but because the guy is from our church, but they wanted pre-marriage counseling, and we said, okay, we'll do it for you. And I recognized that, hey, they're going to get married there. So I didn't answer them, I'm like, because I'm the pre-marriage counselor, they thought maybe you can get me to preach. But I didn't answer them until I met up with them and I asked them, I said, hey, you're going to get married in that church. Is your pastor okay with it or not? And do you ask him first or not? Because the honor is there. I know my place. Yes, I'm doing pre-marriage counseling, and we will still give our best because that's what we do. But I recognize that you are going to go there and that's going to be your pastor. And they said, yeah, he's fine with it. They're like, okay, because he's fine, I'm okay.
Okay.
Because I know my stand. And these are the things I learned here. I didn't learn it anywhere else. I learned this here through observing my leaders. And I understand the value of it. Like you said, Pastor, fear of God. Do we even have the fear of God when you're doing all this nonsense? You use that word. We got to recognize the strength that we have. And I will also want to clarify, Pastor, because I know you mentioned a few times, like maybe this person spend more time, but Pastor, I want to say you do spend time with people. You are not very selective. Yes, you are led by the Holy Spirit on what you should be looking at. But I think people need to know that, yes, Pastor Kenneth is busy, but Pastor Kenneth makes time. Our dad makes time. And I think it's also how we see our role here. Like, one of the biggest lessons I've learned is, we talk about the elder brother. Oh, the prodigal son, the calf was cut up and he got the signet ring and all these things, right? And I keep thinking about this line. The dad looking at the elder brother and say, but you have everything. And I look at my role here in the church. I have everything. Why am I complaining? I have access to Pastor Kenneth when I need it, to be really honest. And it's not just because I work full-time. I think Pastor wouldn't mind meeting people if, again, they want to come and say, Pastor, Dad, I need to have a chat with you. I think if they see it that way, I don't think you will mind. And Pastor is selective. He won't just talk to anybody unless you're his kids. I mean, I would say that. I would want to defend you, Pastor. Because, and the other thing that I feel a lot of people don't recognize is there is power to be under authority. Because the reality is we want to do our own thing, but I recognize myself, I have flaws, I messed up a lot, and I've grown a lot. And I recognize the need to be under authority. Yeah, my dad may not be perfect. I have my rifts with Elder Kenya, but he's still my heart leader. I will still listen to whatever he says. And that's why I encourage people. I say, hey, Elder's not perfect, but a lot of things he shares, God speaks through him, and when I do, I see the fruit.
That's right.
So I don't question it because I recognize God in the picture. There's that God element. It's not a human being or person. I trust that the Lord is using my leader. And I think a lot of people don't see that. They only see the flaws, they only see this, and then they get this illusion. But there is value in being under authority. And if we don't come to this place where we say, no, I need the authority. Yes, I am more mature. I'm doing my own thing now. I'm trusted. But I do recognize power being under authority because that keeps me safe. That keeps me... we are under God's authority at the end of the day. So, I mean, Pastor, as you're sharing, I know sometimes you might seem, but no, actually, a lot of words that are said is not true, There is value in being under authority. Because we're under authority and because of where the Lord has led us, we have done so much as a church.
Amen.
No, Pastor Kenneth will make time one. Every time someone come and tell me, I'm like, hey, hello, if you really need to speak to Pastor, he'll make time one. And true. Of course, by the grace of God, don't be so angry if people cannot talk. Maybe there are other leaders that can talk to you. So what's the difference? We do have a support system, and it's not just dependent on one man. Every other one of the leaders, we believe in the same thing. We speak the same lingo. Whatever we share, right, is almost the same as what Pastor... It's kind of like, right, maybe you talk to me, then you want to talk to another leader, expect something different. It's the same thing. Why? We believe in the same thing. And we have benefited from the same thing. So I just feel like I need to speak to that, Pastor, because sometimes it may seem the grass is greener on the other side. To me, it's like, hello, you have everything. Why are you complaining? Why are you looking at this new person that just came to X, and then suddenly we are also, hello, you've been here for so many years. You have so much more to offer and give. In fact, you are now in a position where you can give. Isn't that something we should celebrate? That's just my thought, Pastor. Yeah.
I think the expectation probably is that I will naturally just know how to speak to my kids.
Yeah.
And that's probably where people get upset because he hasn't spoken to me. He hasn't visited me. So the expectation is that you as a dad should always be the one initiating. And when you don't, then you are a person that doesn't care, doesn't have time. Not realizing that even the other pastor that they start to like more now, they had to make an appointment to see him. So actually, I think the making appointment one is what some people don't like. You mean I have to make appointment to see pastor? But actually, making appointment is actually as simple as that. It's not how we make appointments in office and all that. No,
Yeah.
It's more of like I just want to set a date and time where we can talk.
Yeah.
So
Very
the
practical,
the driving force behind the idea is we want some time to chat. Just that we have to put it on calendar, what time and what day. So and of course, if you only had a church of 10 people,
Yeah, it's
then
possible.
we can talk every day. Also,
Yeah.
but otherwise, as the church grows, the understanding is that appointments need to be made.
Yeah.
But to say that he doesn't want to see me doesn't make that's where you're
That's not
bringing,
true.
To
That's
a place.
not true at all.
In fact, sometimes I tell people, they tell me, Pastor, you are so busy and that's why I didn't call you. And I will tell them, you know what the reason why I'm busy? Because I've made appointments with many people to see them.
Yeah.
So, but if you also made an appointment to see me, then I will be busy with you.
Yeah, that's true.
It's as simple as that. But to just say, I see your Facebook, I'm meeting people. Now, of course, if you say, Pastor, you're so busy, and then you see my Facebook, golf, tennis, pickleball, a flight to Switzerland, holiday here, okay, right? Then, no, but if you are saying meeting with Kenya, lunch with Alvin, fellowship with, then it's people.
Yeah.
Yeah.
People who was able to set a time and a day. Now, it could also have been with you.
Yeah.
But we didn't.
No, that's true.
That the picture could have been with you. But we didn't set that time. So could you set that time next week?
Yeah.
Or could you set that time next month? But whatever you are saying, Elvin, is that we will eventually meet. But to say that, no, he doesn't care.
That's not true.
I can't even meet my pastor, but I could now meet the other pastor. He had time for me. But you didn't just meet on the street, right?
Yeah.
You also called the other pastor and made that appointment.
Yeah.
And now say that pastor has time. So did you make that call to me? Now, if you made that call to me and I say I have no time for you, then yes.
Yeah.
That will probably
Yep.
probably say that. But I'm thankful that you brought up that actually there's always time. It's just that we have to set it.
Yeah, and I want to bring up another thing, Pastor. The beautiful picture about our church, our Pastor, is that it's not just you.
Yeah, that's right.
You can meet so many people. If you are struggling, right? It's not like, oh, I only can. And I think, I don't know whether people are mature if they keep thinking like that. Yes, maybe your dad will play a special role, but you've got brothers and sisters.
But some
You've
people
got
are
other
not going to be happy with that, because we have set a structure and a system whereby just like Moses did, right?
Yeah.
Jethro said, if you continue doing this, everybody comes to you, Moses. Everybody will burn out.
Yeah.
You will burn out. The people will burn out.
Yep.
Because they had to wait in line for months before they can see you. So there was leaders of 1,000, leaders of hundreds, 50s. It's a biblical system and structure.
Yeah.
And it was supposed to make it work.
Yeah.
But there will be some who will say, no, only pastor, right? Or only so and so. I can only meet, if you give me an elder, it means pastor doesn't care. Okay?
Or it doesn't count, right?
Doesn't count. Yeah. So and there are people who have left because of that.
Okay.
That only if pastor show me time, then we are all right.
Yeah.
If elder Peng Ho, elder Kenya, not good enough. And these are people's minds. Because you know that if they gave the elders or the pastors a chance, other pastors a chance, they would have gotten their needs met, their questions answered, their problems solved. Yeah. And if it couldn't be solved, then as Moses taught, right, it will somehow come back to Moses.
Yep.
The harder cases and all that kind of stuff.
Right.
Yeah. So, you have something to say about it? Otherwise, I'll move on.
No, Pastor, I was just thinking about when you said that you want your best, that the whole statement.
Yeah.
Pastor, been involved in the renovation work for the school and moved, right? I got people coming up to me, Elder, you have to take care of your mental health. I went like, in my 24 years, Pastor, I'm not sure where, Elder, you must remember to
mental health,
mental health.
So you went to Lynette's or not?
No lah, Pastor. So
I an appointment with Dr. Jill, no? I think.
then after, Elder, you must rest. You must rest. I went like, okay. On this Pastor, I was people pray for me. God strengthen his mental health. I went like, okay.
Maybe because of the way you've been responding this last 3 weeks, they thought you must have a mental health.
No, Pastor, I feel like telling this person, if you know Elder Kenya, this is his best.
So I'm
his
just thinking
most
about it, Pastor.
excited
That this,
moment.
well, it sounds really good, or rather, this is the new word for this century, right, Pastor? But it's not very healthy because everybody just very different, Pastor. And I look at the person, I say, actually, I like what I'm doing.
Yeah.
Then I went like, so Elder, you got rest or you? Yeah, after work. I got that few hours. I say, what do you do after work? I say, I'm knock off way after work. I'm not thinking about it.
No, you must be careful, because there's work-life balance that you have to take.
I know, Pastor.
And so I
Yeah,
think
anyway, Pastor, I don't want to say that, Pastor.
that's for another show, lah.
Yeah.
Work-life balance for another show.
Okay.
Not sure whether I'll ever do it, but
Yeah,
it's
great,
for
Pastor.
another
You
show.
want to say that, Pastor?
No,
Okay.
but I get what Elder is trying to say, Pastor. He's trying to say we assume what people need.
Yeah.
Or we assume, there's a lot of assumptions, which may not be true.
Okay.
Yeah.
Cool. Let me nail this one down. We're talking about children again and family. Children know who to go to lah.
Yeah.
At the end of the day. And they also know who not to go to.
Yeah,
It is all back to stance and ethics.
correct.
And the reason why they went to this pastor to pour out all their feelings and why they didn't go to that pastor is not always because of understanding and compassion and all that.
Yeah.
It's about because one guy had a higher stand of like, you want to see me, let's talk about future,
Yeah.
let's talk about life and not hurts and not okay. You want to settle that, you better settle with people that you can settle it with.
Yep.
Because I can't help you you got a problem with the guy, go to the guy with the problem, not
Yeah.
with the guy you don't have problem with.
Yeah.
Okay, so there's a difference.
Yeah.
So I wrote here, worst case scenario is that they know you as a person with strong ethics or without strong ethics, who will not buy into. So what I'm trying to say is that the reason why people don't, because they already know what you will say.
Yep.
They know your stance. They know daddy will actually, if I go to back to home and complain about a teacher who hit me, my dad would probably also hit me. You can't know your dad. No nonsense. Okay. So, but for those who will see fathers coming to the school and want to pick a fight with the teacher that's not a sign of strength.
Yeah.
It's actually a sign of weakness. Okay, so I think I will move on because I only have 2 more thoughts, and maybe with only 15 more minutes. Okay, so one other pastor friend. Okay, let me just do this one. One other pastor friend gave time. He's a totally different guy. Gave time. A person that Pastor Sandra and I know very well and respect also very much. But he gave time to a group of people that was also frustrated with me and my leadership frustrated with X-Church. Gave time. Listen. Not once, no, I think there was 2 or 3 meetings. And final call to Pastor Sandra, again because they don't have my number. So they called Pastor Sandra and these were the words. Okay, not exact, maybe I'm trying to go verbatim, but I can remember only 1 or 2 sentences. They came to see me. They had a lot to say. And I didn't take sides. I just want you to know, Kenneth and Sandra, I didn't take sides. Again, if you had a box to tick, nice words, ticked. Noble thought, ticked. Normal reaction from a friend, ticked. Okay? But is it nice? Is it noble? Is it normal? For me, if you have known me longer than you've known some of my leaders who went to complain to you about, then I would expect you to take sides. So the statement of I didn't take any side is not necessarily good.
Yeah.
Let's say I've known you for a long time,
Yeah.
Alvin, and someone comes from PJ and talks to me about things, I will probably try to reconvince this guy that this is not the Alvin I know. Because I've known him longer.
Yeah.
But to call you Alvin and say, so and so came to see me once, twice, 3 times, I just want to assure you, Alvin, I didn't take sides. You probably will say, thank you, Pastor, right? Because it sounds so good. And then later on go like, hold on a minute.
Yeah.
Why are you meeting them 4 or 5 times?
Plus, why didn't you take a side?
Exactly.
Yeah.
Right? I tell you, there are some girlfriends I've seen before in a movie or whatever it is, who, because they're girlfriends and they've known each other so long,
Yeah.
they will scold this person, and they go back to their friend and say, you know what this girl told me, and I told her off because I've known you so long.
Yeah.
And you feel like, wow, at least I have a friend.
Yeah.
Right.
So what happened was, Pastor Sandra and I actually started to grow less of a respect for this because you would expect.
Yep.
So there was another pastor who called me who didn't know me as much as this other pastor who said I did take sides. He took all of my side lah. He said, this guy came and told me this and told me that. Then I told him, you think it's easy being a pastor? And he said until so he told this guy off so much, even though he didn't know me so well, but he knew me longer than he knew this guy lah.
Yeah.
But did not so well. And finally, for 45 minutes, this guy just told me all the strong words he told this young leader who complained about me about that this is not the right way.
Yep.
Go back to Pastor Kenneth, talk to him, settle it with him.
Yeah, that's good.
And blah, 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 and blah, 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 and all that. He says, then finally the call was, Pastor Kenneth, I just want to let you know, I'm with you.
Wow.
This pastor friend, again, not as close as the other friend, I'm with you. I think what this guy is doing is not right, even though, maybe he might have grouses, and maybe he might have his own frustration, but there's a better way to do this.
Yep.
And I'm telling him the better way to do it. And I'm telling him, and Pastor Kenneth, I want to just let you know, in that conversation I had with him, in no way did I allow him to put you down, and in fact, I'm telling him that, pastors have their own troubles and problems too, and blah, 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 and then he said, Pastor Kenneth, I just want to let you know that we love you. This pastor is telling me, I'm talking to myself, he loves me. We love you, we respect you, we know what you've done, we know how much you've sacrificed for the people that are talking about you now. We know how much you paid the price. We know that this person is where he is today because of your investment in him. So it's not rocket science. No?
Yeah.
But a person who doesn't know me as well as the other person. So in the whole conversation of 45 minutes, he's actually taking a side.
Yeah, he is. Yeah.
And sometimes in life, you need to take a side.
Yep.
And just saying, I'm not, I didn't take sides, is almost a weakness,
Yeah.
because you didn't dare take a side. You didn't have courage to speak to a younger man and tell him, okay, fine, given you are frustrated, you are angry, you have your point. But I'm telling you right now, as an older pastor, there is a proper way to do it.
Yeah.
There's a right way. I'm not your father and I'm not your pastor, but since you came to me, I will guide you
Yeah.
to the right way of doing it. And for him to even call me, and he didn't have to,
Yeah.
to tell me what transpired, wow, I felt so honored.
Wow.
Felt so honored, and I kept thanking the pastor. I said, Pastor, and thinking in my mind, actually, he doesn't have to take my side.
Yeah.
But actually, you think about it, that he's not taking a personal side.
Yeah.
He's taking a side that he believes that God will be pleased with.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So even if
Correct.
I wasn't his best friend, is this the right way in God's sight
Yeah.
to talk to a younger man who's talking against his pastor? So he's saying, and maybe this pastor also have gone through so much himself. Maybe other people have talked bad about him.
Yeah.
Other people have left his church. So only if you're a father, you will understand another father's heart.
Yeah.
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 Only if you're a pastor, you understand another pastor's heart.
Yeah.
And don't simply, say, I don't take side, I was neutral.
Yeah.
Yeah. That's
Then
true.
maybe you wasted your opportunity to disciple a young man
Yep.
by being neutral. Maybe
Yeah.
this young man needed to hear,
Yep.
Yeah.
or young woman needed to hear from you as a seasoned pastor,
Correct.
take it from me. You might not see me ever again. You might not even want to see me because now this person will go like, oh, this pastor has stands, man. Has got stands.
Yeah.
It's not just receiving everything I'm telling him and taking my side.
Yeah.
In fact, if you're not taking a side, you are already.
Yeah.
I didn't take any sides. Means you took the young man's side.
Yeah.
Because you heard everything he has to say.
Yeah.
And nothing, no defense.
Yeah. Because if you really don't want to take a side, you wouldn't even meet.
Correct.
Yeah, I think that would be the
Once, twice, 3 times. Okay.
Yeah.
Then of course he did other things which I'll bring up in another episode of supporting the guy with a document or something like that, just to back the person up. Anyway, that would be for another day. Okay? But I would say there are times we need to take a side. You are married to your wife. For example, I'll give you another example. My wife, 29 years of marriage. And if someone now comes and talks bad about my wife to me, I think I should take her side. It was taught to us when we were first married that actually my wife and I are one now. And the world and even the closest people around us, with knowledge or without knowledge, will try to break this marriage up. Some of them are not even sure that they're doing that. So we were taught, right, that even my wife's mother is not her first priority now. I am. And my own dad is not my first priority now. My wife is. So I have made a vow to, for better for worse, now we are one. And you must not come into break. So if my father says something about my wife, I'll say, Dad, actually, you might have your view, but I have to stand for her. Hey, I'm your dad, no, for 40 years, no? But she's my wife. If I don't stand for my wife, who's going to stand for her? And my wife has got to tell her mother, who said, your husband, I tell you, this morning never say good morning to me. And my wife who said, Mom, not every morning also my husband has to be the first one to say good morning. You can also say good morning to him. What? Because you are also staying in his house. He's not staying in your house. So, whatever lah. I'm just using statements to try to show you that my wife has to stand for me. Because whatever we allow to come in will start to see cracks in our marriage.
That's true.
And when we really break up, it's good for nobody. It's not even good for my father. It's not good for her mother. It's not good for my life. So the best gift I can give to anyone around me, including my father, her mother, my children, is to guard this marriage. And yes, I can listen. And if it's really right for me to talk to my wife, I'll bring her aside and say, dear, actually, I heard this about you. I told them already, that, whatever it is, nothing will break this marriage up. I support my wife. She's amazing. But I have to say that if at all, dear, you are losing your temper, in this kind of situations, then let me advise you not to. So it's not to say that you don't address each other when there's something to be addressed and something to improve. But to, in front of other people, not take your wife's side can not be beneficial for anyone.
That's good.
So there are times in life you have to pick a side. It's the most honorable thing to do. And you go like, but my children was complaining about their mother, and then I took my children's side. Your children will, after a while, create a wedge in your marriage.
That's true.
So it can be your own, even your own people having got grouses and all that kind of thing. And then when they go to another place, I say to you right now, I would do that for a pastor friend of mine. If someone now comes to me and tells me something about Pastor Sam Surendran, or tells me something about Pastor Palan, I already know what I'll do. And I already explained to some of you, number one, I might not even meet them. Until today, there's a pastor that used to be part of my friend's church, who until today have not met me. Although, once upon a time, we were working very closely together for Revo. But he had problems with his pastor. He came out of the church. He went to join another church. Until today, he hasn't met me. And I think to myself, he hasn't met me, although we are close. He hasn't met me because he knows what I'll say. He knows even that I might not even allow a meeting if you're going to talk bad about your pastor who is my friend. I am going to take a side because I know your pastor longer than I know you. And because people know that, they don't come to you. And actually, it's to your benefit or to your reputation, a good reputation, that happens. If too many people are coming to you sharing about too many other people, means your standards are very low. So I want to say that again. So that's really all the time I have left. But I do want to get your opinion about taking sides, okay? So maybe just say a few things about that, about when there's a good time to do that and when there's not, maybe. But the statement was made, and we actually thanked him for not taking sides. But after a while, when I thought about it, I thought to myself, So I want to tell people who are watching right now and hearing right now, please pick a side. Especially when you know it's the right thing to do. And when you do pick a side, you will realize that you probably bring more healing. and more restoration and more unity.
Yeah.
Not picking a side sometimes
Yeah.
is like not having a stand.
Yeah.
Not picking a side is like standing on a fence, which
Yeah.
is
Right.
actually quite painful. So I want to ask, maybe with that we'll close this episode. But Kenya, taking sides.
I think, Pastor, I think it's very important for everyone to have a stand, Pastor. People need to know what you stand for. For our church, Pastor, the team is that all may know. And we are not just a church which traditional methods of, not I won't say traditional methods which has been always just been existing, just, being there for how many years. But no, we are a movement. And it's not surprised whereby God has been leading us all these years, transforming us to be a movement. And people may or may not like where we are going, Pastor, but we still are not very apologetic of following God this way. And when people ask, why do you plant church? I say, God told us so. We're taking a side. I remember, Pastor, that even that when people say that, why do you do this? That also because the vision consumes us. And individually, people don't come to me, Pastor, to ask me about this. Because they already know that, for example, they complain about different things. I'll be the last. In fact, I won't even know about it until the thing is over and done. With only because they know that I would just tell people that, look, I've been in this church for almost 24 years. I've seen the ups and the downs and how God is so faithful to us. And the journey, how God is bringing us to maturity after maturity after maturity. And I'll just tell people, just grow up. Really just grow up, because it's easy to...
You're taking that as a discipleship moment.
Yeah, correct, Pastor.
And that's why when you pick a side, I said it earlier, I'll say it again, you actually encourage healing one.
Yeah.
When you pick a side. You actually encourage unity one.
Yeah.
Because when you don't, then you leave it hanging.
Correct.
So can you imagine right now, if every grouse, complaint, frustration came to different ones? You, Kenya, you, Alvin, Shirley, all right? Alex. And all of us had a side. God's side, number one.
Yeah.
And then leaders' side, number two, because God put these leaders over us. So you take your leader's side, you take God's side, you take your leader's side.
Yep.
Think about it, Think about it. And everybody says the same thing.
Yeah.
Talk to your leader.
Yep.
Forgive your leader.
Yep.
Let me tell you that your leader might look busy and he might not have time for you, but actually, like you said just now, I defend my leader. He actually has time
Yeah.
when you make appointment
Yeah.
to see him. Okay. Now, can you imagine everybody takes a side like that
Yep.
and said the same thing for the last 10 years? I think we would have lost less people.
Yep.
Yeah.
Think about it. Just the way to solve a problem of the church is
Yep.
everybody pick a side
Yep.
and talk consistently.
Correct, Pastor.
But now when we make room for two sides,
Yeah.
there's no closure.
Yeah.
Yeah.
There is no healing.
Exactly,
Yeah.
Pastor.
There is no, discipleship. Because right now you're saying, get over it.
Yeah.
For example, it can be hard words.
Yeah.
But if every other leader also say that, I think you need to get over this.
Yep.
Yeah.
I need to man up.
Correct,
Man up.
Pastor.
Strengthen up. Come, let me hold you by the shoulder. Let's have some tete. Okay, let's talk some nice words. But at the end of the day, at the end of this conversation, you have no choice but to face your fears.
Yep.
Yeah.
You have no choice but to go speak to the person that hurt you.
Yeah.
You have no... I'm telling you right now, the side is God's side.
Yep.
The side of the word.
Yeah.
Yeah.
The side of the leaders. Okay? Your father may be not the best father, most smartest father, but he's still your dad.
Yeah.
So whatever it is, there's no other family to go to. You only have one family, no other
Yeah.
home to go to. I think we just put too many choices out there.
Correct,
Yeah.
Pastor.
And then you lose 1,000 people.
Yeah.
If you had no choice, everybody had to take this road, you will start seeing reconciliation.
Exactly.
You
Yeah,
will start
Pastor.
seeing, I had to go and see the person. But we sometimes go like, oh yeah, maybe your dad is maybe your pastor is, okay, I won't take sides.
Yeah.
What will happen is what's happening
Correct.
now lah.
Yep.
But if there was only one road to take,
Yep.
the road of reconciliation,
Yeah.
the road of restoration,
Yep.
the road of like, okay lah, I'm angry for 3 months, I'll just take a break for 3 months, but I'll come back.
Correct, Pastor.
Don't give them all this L1. If you don't want it to be L10, just be L1.
Yeah.
We give them too many choices.
Yeah, correct.
So if every leader spoke like that, like how God would speak, forgive,
Yep.
right? Heal, reach out. Matthew 18, go and meet the person that, you know,
Yep.
all that. Then there's only one way. And
Yeah.
you realize that everybody be aligned and discipled. And
Correct.
for those who can't, they will leave, but it will be a minority.
Yep.
Because the majority, no matter who he goes to in the leadership of the church, will have only one way, the
Yep.
discipleship way, the
Correct,
Jesus
Pastor.
way,
Exactly,
the
Pastor.
healing way,
Yeah.
the unity way. So that's why I keep saying, if you took a side, you might have better results.
Yeah.
See, like now, mommy says, go to your dad. Dad says, listen to your mom. They are both one.
Yeah.
And there's only one way in our family.
Yeah.
You start seeing the children align.
Yep.
But if mom says one thing, dad says one thing, and both of them think they're heroes, right? The children have got choice now.
Yeah.
And they'll know who to go to and get their way, and
Yeah.
the family gets more split.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But if there's only one way, whatever your
exactly,
dad
Pastor.
said, I'm with him.
Yeah.
And the dad says, whatever your mom, I'm with her. You're one, ma.
Yep.
And so you took a side, ma. Now your children also have to take a side.
Yeah.
Sooner or later, they will have to.
Yeah.
Or they will leave. But I think we were made by God
Yeah.
to align one. We were made by God to actually recognize authority one.
Yeah.
But today, I think even with parenthood, a lot of parents are struggling
Yeah.
because they want the modern day parenthood. Let the children speak, let them have their own mind. Okay?
Yeah.
And so the parents are not one
Yep.
Yeah.
with that. And parents don't become parents anymore.
Yeah.
They let the children become parents.
Yeah.
So it's all very messy today.
Yeah.
And so we think we can apply the same thing to church. You see?
Yeah.
But actually there's authority and there's also hierarchy and
Yeah.
all that with the Lord.
Pastor, I think also want to speak because about, especially there's a lot of churches, Pastor, that are smaller, and whereby the pastors is doing majority of the jobs, trying their very best. I mean, the smallest church is about 20 to 25. And I think a lot of times there's expectation on the pastors just to do everything on their own. And so when I was asked, renovation, Elder, why don't you rest? You do. I went like, yeah, but the job still needs to be done. I said I can rest if someone is willing to step up.
Yeah.
And if say, I have said to this brother, I said, if you're not stepping up, I have to step up.
Yeah.
And
That's true.
and sometimes people don't understand the side, Pastor. Like, it's not that I always
There's
want
a responsibility
Yeah.
to
Correct.
be done, and yet they want you to live a balanced life.
Correct.
But if you live a balanced life,
Yeah.
there's something that will be imbalanced here.
Exactly, Pastor.
Unless you are willing to also help this brother
Yeah.
rest. So he said, Elder, you should rest. Let me
Yeah.
do this. But they are not offering the let me
Yeah.
do this. So they just say, you rest. And then when the job is not finished,
Yeah.
everybody suffers. And then be
Correct.
like, why did Kenya rest when he should be? So you're right.
Yeah, it's some and many instances, Pastor, even the peak, Pastor, when because you're trying to save money. I remember buying the winer, Pastor, enough winer to make our vehicle go on 2-wheel, Pastor, because the weight was just too much for the van. And on the 30th of December, I was there mopping the glaze on the winer. When people just came in, why this color one? And stuff like that. And I realized, Pastor, that after a while, if this culture continues, right, and leaders leading this group of people allows this culture to continue, the church will suffer the most because the leaders are not even taking the side. Hey, guys, they are trying to save money.
Yeah.
Guys, you understand that they are here every night. Every night they are here, and the pastors are here every Sunday morning doing the things. Yeah,
So if you're not helping,
yeah,
then don't comment about the color lah.
yeah,
Yeah, right?
Yeah,
Because I can see how that also links to taking a side.
Correct,
The
Pastor.
side is be on the side of the person who is giving his life
yep, exactly, Pastor.
to putting this peak together so that you can start school on Monday.
Yep,
And if you're not helping, don't come on Monday and say you chose the wrong color for the
yeah,
and the toilets. And we are all commenting
yeah,
because there is another side. is like the side of the committed and the side of the commenters,
Yes, exactly, Pastor.
right?
Yeah.
So I think there should only be one side,
Yeah.
the side of the committed,
Yep.
because it's the committed that get the job done, and so
Yep.
that everybody got food on their table,
Yep.
Yep.
right? So if you want to be on the side of the commenters, we are not interested.
Yep.
So if you want to comment, then be committed also.
Yep.
Then when you are committed, as you're doing, you can say, hey, the color wrong lah.
Yeah.
Say it before it's late.
Yeah.
Because some people took 3 hours into the early hours of the morning,
Yeah.
from 12 midnight to 3 in the morning, to
Yeah.
lay this. And then you come at 9 a.m. and comment. So I think there shouldn't be sides of commenters and sides of
Yeah.
committed. There should only be one side. And that's why when people come to me and complain
Yeah.
about the committed,
Yeah.
I will always take the committed side.
Yep.
Because they paid the price.
Yeah.
You are just a commentator, you know.
Yeah.
So if you are just a commentator and you are complaining about a committer
Yeah.
or committed
Yep.
person, rest assured, I will always take the committed side.
Yeah.
Because it takes the committed to make
Yep.
things happen.
Yep.
And if I'm always scolding the committed,
Yeah.
and I'm only now left with commentators
Yeah.
Yeah.
or commenters, then nothing gets done.
Correct, Pastor.
So rest assured, rest assured.
Yeah.
I'm always going to take the side of it. So that's why life is like that.
Yeah.
And if you're right, if our young and coming up leaders are giving space for the commenters
Yeah.
to also have a side, after a while, the commenters will increase.
Yes.
And now, once upon a time, there was 100 committed and 100 commenters. But if you allow this one to keep having a voice, then these guys will say, forget it lah.
Yep.
Since commenters so easy, I don't need to carry. Commenters don't need to carry. Commenters don't need to stay late at night. So what will happen is after 10 years, you find only 10 more committed people and
Yep.
200 comment.
Correct, Pastor.
That's what you're trying to say.
Yeah.
The church will end up just full of people only commenting,
Yep.
but not carrying
Yes.
Yeah.
carrying the weight.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So must a leader take one side? Yes.
Yes.
Yes. Tell me who you are. Are you a commenter or are you a committed?
Yep.
If you're just telling me you're a commenter, I'll ask you keep quiet. Because
Yeah.
unless if you want to talk earlier
Yep.
and be part of the committed,
Yep.
so that you could have actually said, now it's all laid out with glue.
Yeah.
I can't pull it out.
Yeah.
Correct,
It's
Pastor.
silly or what,
Yeah.
I'll waste money
Yeah.
and I'll waste the guy's time.
Yeah.
So as a leader, always be on the side of the committed, the people that paid the price.
Yep.
Must be the loudest voice.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
not the person that just loves to comment.
Pastor, I'm just going to add this one more thing. I think a lot of people do not know, Pastor, what you have to go through as the founding senior pastor. I can only say this because I've seen the start. When the church was small, Pastor, rental needs to be paid. And our rental is not like, a couple hundreds, it's like, one floor is about 3,000. Our offering, the 1 month itself is about 1,000 plus. You have to get down on your knees, Pastor, to pray, to seek the Lord, to write support letters, to get people telling you off, Pastor, to get people like look at, you see Pastor Kenneth, he's always asking for money. You walk one direction, maybe they want walk direction because do not want. I think a lot of times, Pastor, not just you, I think a lot of pastors in Malaysia goes through this. And they have to raise funds. Honestly, the bills are there, Pastor. And all these pastors, may not be perfect, may not have time because they are also thinking about how to raise funds, how to make sure they keep the boat afloat, and trying to balance off all this part, Pastor. And I just wanted to encourage people to understand, the pastors also have to think about salaries, raising funds, making sure things get going on. But
There's a lot going on.
a lot,
the
Pastor.
cost is very high.
Yeah,
And we don't know what some of these pioneers go through
exactly, Pastor.
and how some of them actually don't sleep well at night,
Yeah.
worrying about the bill tomorrow. And the rest could be just recipients of it.
Yeah.
Maybe we pray also. But actually to write a letter and to be write 10 letters and be rejected 9 times
Yeah,
is a hard thing to swallow. But not a lot of people need to pay that price. Only some people
Yeah.
pay that price. And so again, I'm with the committed
yeah,
and less with the commentators. And it's good to remember that people have paid the price and that
Yeah.
there's a cost, and to actually cut them some slack.
Yeah.
Maybe that's also what we're trying to say. Cut them some slack, give them a bit more understanding
Yep.
and honor and all that. We don't really ask for that one.
Yeah.
If you ask me, I don't really ask for that. But in all the price we've paid, in all the costs we've paid, we feel that at least if you're going to leave also, leave properly.
Yeah.
I mean,
Correct, Pastor.
it's kind of like all we're asking for.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And that's why it's either going to be honor or total dishonor. There's no middle road. And so me and Pastor Sandra has come to an age whereby we don't take dishonor very well.
Yeah.
And so we get very tired, very drained to talk to people, in that place. Alvin, maybe I'll close with you.
Well, Pastor, as you're talking about committed and commenters, I think I've learned through learning in, doing church and also being someone who's involved, right? I realized one very important thing. To kind of stop people from complaining, right? You get them to work. I remember there was one time where I had to take over a dream team. And during that time, that dream team, let's just say that most of the people in that dream team, they had a lot to say about a lot of things. I was already taking care of XTV, and I had to take care of this dream team, and I have to come and sort of like revive or help them. And I think the revelation I got from God, number one, I got so tired of all the complaints. I'm supposed to lead you guys to move forward, and you're like constantly complaining about why it's not good. Then I got so fed up and to the point that we actually had, I remember, an event in church. And I said, you know what, guys? All of you are going to serve. Like the whole dream team serve. And then they're like, huh? But we don't have enough people. I said, I don't care. You just get everybody to serve, and we'll figure it out. And from that day onwards, Pastor, I saw how people who were maybe tired, not happy and all, start using their gifting to serve the Lord. I never heard a complaint anymore after that already. And there were two things that I caught out of it. Number one was, you can't really complain about your own work. That's one thing that I thought was very valuable. If you actually do it, and you go through the trouble and all, you won't complain because it's your work. You can't complain about your work. That's one. Number two is, I see people who are there, and normally I will encourage people just serve God, and then you'll start seeing things happen. Because when you put yourself in the picture, and when you are doing things, and when you are sowing into the church and the life, then you will see the fruit of it. But the moment people step back and don't do anything, or the moment they put themselves out because, I need a break, then you start seeing a lot of not so nice things happen in the person's life. Because God, even in Genesis, God said, work the land. I think there's some value in that. Yes, rest and all, and take care of and have the Sabbath and all, but we cannot come to a place where we it's like we rest until you start seeing a lot of problems. That I think is a very dangerous place to be at. So I think that's why I'm catching even from our conversation.
As you can see, the committed ones are usually on the field.
Yeah.
And the commenters or the commentators are usually in the box.
Yeah.
And it's much easier, for the commentators to say, kaki kayu what's this guy doing why can't jump higher why can't run after the ball, but it's the committed on the field that gets it done and gets the results. So again, it's just a point of if pastors ever thought that after they have done all these things about meeting up with other people's sheep and all that, and if you know this guy and he's your friend, saying to your friend, I listened and gave my advice, but throughout the whole 3 hours or throughout the whole 3 days, I did not take any sides. I want to say right now, that's not the best thing to tell your friend. There's always a time to take a side, and the more we take sides, in the way we have said it, right? In the context we've said it, the more we will see our church come together, heal, take the way of the Lord, which is the narrow way that leads to life. Not everybody, in fact, the Bible does say, many don't take that road because it's hard.
That's true.
Hard. But if all of us could just agree, there is a narrow way, one way only. Wide is the way that leads to destruction, and a lot of people are walking on that. Easier, everybody is doing it, Okay, this pastor is doing it, that pastor. I don't understand why Pastor Kenneth says this. Don't give other sheep from other people's church time, to complain about their pastors. Hey, then how are we going to know? So they're explaining away why the wide road is the right road, but Jesus is saying the narrow road
Yeah.
Very few of us take.
Yeah.
I am choosing to take the narrow road because I want to bring healing to the body of Christ,
Yeah.
to the church per se, and see revival really not only come but be sustained.
Yep.
So I would say, stop saying I didn't take any side. Choose a side, the Lord's side first, of
Yep.
course,
Amen.
and all that the Lord has taught us to do. Take that side, even though other people may not understand, other people may not think it's reasonable, etc., etc. And that's all the time we have for episode number 31. Ladies and gentlemen, thank you for staying with us for, I think, near to 1.5 hours now, if not more. But it's been a robust talk, and I'm glad, again, it's not coming out from a place of hurt.
Yeah.
It's a place of healing, or actually wanting more healing to happen among pastors and among leaders and among churches. And may the revival of the Lord come upon Malaysia, a spiritual revival like none other. I believe that Malaysia is ripe for that.
Yep.
But in the midst of that, let's get our dealings with each other right.
Yeah.
Let's get our ethics right. Let's choose the better way to do everything. Okay, so don't forget to put a like and leave a comment and subscribe to this channel. Thank you everyone again for your time. Share it, okay? Share it with as many people as you can who you think you will benefit from this. The Lord bless you till we meet again. Okay.
Yeah. Learning a lot, Pastor.
Oh, wow.